making the rounds. So, sir, how are
Fine, sir.
I'm sure you spent the weekend monitoring the American elections.
Yes, sir. It was
Hmm?
5 days of monitoring.
5 days, yes. I got tired. I must confess. By the second or third day, I just got tired of what was going on CNN. It was clear to me that Biden was going to win anyway, but they were not ready to call it. But I still stuck with it. By the time they now called it, I was nowhere near a television. So I was heard. But I'm glad that Biden won, and I hope this will bring some sanity into the world mainly because you see when America sneezes, the world shakes, and that other gentleman that had been in the saddle had it made things a bit difficult for us. So what was your take about the elections itself? Um, Compared to, of course, our own. What lessons do you think we could learn from that election?
I think the number one lesson for me it's that institutions matters a lot,
Yeah.
and so no matter who you are, you have to follow the institutions. It's not about the office. Is not about your person. It's about
Mm.
an institution. So the office remains. The business of running the country remains. It's not whether you are the government in power or things like that. So when he's even said things like stop the count.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you can imagine in Nigeria somebody
Yeah.
saying stop the count. The president saying stop the count. INEC will quickly switch off.
No. I disagree because I like to be fair to us. I don't
Mm.
think any president has the audacity in Nigeria to say stop the count. It will be very tough now.
Except he said
Maybe
now.
maybe in the time of Babangida, yes, when they did all what happened. But could you imagine Jonathan or even Buhari saying stop the count? He'll probably do something else behind, but it won't be as brazen as what Trump did.
You see, there's something that I find fascinating about the American elections.
Mm.
You will notice that the elections are conducted by the states,
Yes.
and each state
Yes.
has their own different rules
Rules.
of the
Yes.
elections.
Yes.
And the winners are not the winners are determined even before the actual counting has finished. For
Mm.
example, now the winners are determined by the networks. That shows you how powerful the media in America is. So when the networks or anybody, the Fox of this world, the CNN of this world, looked at all the scenarios and say, okay, there's no way Mr. X is going to meet up
With these
with this vote.
numbers.
So we have projected that this state has been won by X person, has been won by this senatorial candidate, has been won by this congressperson or state governor. That shows you how transparent those things are. So you don't need anybody to take a flying boat, canoe, to come to Abuja with one big Excel sheet and be reading, things like that. So at the comfort of your home, you know who is winning.
Mm.
So
Well, I think we'll get there. But I think that what concerned me more was that the disposition that we had known, the American disposition we had known, where the elections were a very decent event. Once, even before any announcements are made, the person who lost is already picking up his phone and calling his opponent. We are seeing for the first time that at last Americans are human beings like us. And I think the lesson there is in us deciding to enforce existing laws. That is where the difference lies. It now shows that after all there's nothing intrinsically wrong with us as human beings per se, but it's because we think that we can always get away with any misdemeanor.
I
You know,
agree.
this gentleman, Trump or whatever he is, he get as he be. I think everybody had known that in all the 4 years that he was president, that you're not looking at who you would call a normal American, and so in that sense, um, but so there's very little for us to learn from that, but except of course, like you said, strengthening of institutions. Now the man is going on a rampage. As at this morning, he I think he fired his defense advisor or something like that.
You're on a tweet.
And a tweet with the tweet that he's fired. That's it. And it's likely that he might fire his heads of intelligence and so on and so forth. But the interesting part is that Biden has gone to work. He started work, picked up a team who would take care of the COVID situation in his country, and let's see how it goes. It's going to be interesting to watch, Osa. And from time to time, we might be bringing you in until January when the new president is actually sworn in. The lawyers are thinking that his case is very weak. From a common sense point, I also think it is very weak. And I keep wondering, and even some of the Republicans are now telling him that, oh boy, this is not the way it works. His vice president is a much younger person. I think he has his eyes on the presidency in future, so he has decided to keep quiet. but he might have to, for patriotic reasons, have to make a statement either which way, so that at least he stands on one part of the
I think he wants to go to the Supreme Court. He wants to go to court. So let's see if he can.
He should have gone to, like Femi Adesina said, maybe he'll still go to the lawn tennis court and see what he can. Yeah, okay, so that's a few things caught my attention in the papers also that I'd like us to look at. And first of all, people are now criticizing the government. We are now talking Nigeria, criticizing the government for wanting to prosecute certain persons for, initiating the End SARS protests, as it were. You find that Femi Falana, and even the other lawyer, what's his name now? Zekome, have criticized the government for. Let me show you or read out the headline of the paper. I've gotten my papers mixed up now. It says End SARS, MBA, Falana, CSOs, SANS, flee federal government's move to prosecute protesters. And one of the lawyers is saying that FG is trying to silence me by freezing my account. And says then the United Nations says everybody has a right to protest and so on and so forth. What are your views on this? I'm just wondering.
I find it very, very, very laughable. And for example, I remember the 2012 fuel subsidy protest.
Yeah.
Then the then government of Goodluck Jonathan was saying there were some sponsors, and majority of them was from the opposition parties.
Yes.
And Fashola was fingered for allowing access to Ghanaian Family Park. People were having stuff there, all the artists, musicians, whatever, clergymen, and everybody were there talking. And at the end of the day, it ended. And we didn't see anyone. The government did not find any charges against anybody. Because whether I like it or not, the nation was at a standstill for like a week.
Yes.
And throughout like a week, the same thing happened with this NSAS, where there was no work, and NLC were doing meetings in Abuja, blah, 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 and Kanu, there were some skirmishes here and there, people, So, and the government in power was saying the opposition were the one sponsoring these guys to do a protest against us for the fuel subsidy increase. So now for the opposition now, who are now in power, to now go back again and play some similar drama too, and also now going further and say they want to charge people to court. So to my own understanding now is that what are you charging them for court for? The NSAS people were in for in Lagos, for example, they were located in two places. They were located in Alausa and the Lekki Toll Girls. Now, like we all know, like some of us predicted, like some people predicted, at the end of the day, it went out of control.
Yes.
And hoodlums took over and started destroying properties, looting, stuff like that. And the general public started participating in storming of palliative warehouses across the country.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it's the NSAS protesters that caused it. To me, it's the failure of governance. It's the failure of not providing adequate security
for them.
And also, when you know that kind of thing is happening, as a country, you'll have placed, how do you call it, security personnel in strategic locations to forestall any disease. Just last week, you were watching something that happened in Philadelphia, where people were still going to shop to go and loot. The two black men were shot at. I don't know, shot at in Philadelphia, and the people took it around from peaceful protest march. Turned into better forcing to looting. Same thing that happened in overseas too. So it's not as if say that the breakdown of law and order, you can attribute it to the NSAS people. I think.
Okay, let me
it's
read.
wrong.
Let me read what a paragraph here that is interesting. It says, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Garba Shehu, said in a Channel television program, Politics Today on Sunday, that those who promoted the protests and allowed it to degenerate into chaos must be made to face the full wrath of the law. So the question that I hoped that I didn't watch that particular program, but I'm hoping that the question that would have come out is, was it the NSAS protesters that made it? How could they have prevented it from degenerating into violence? Wouldn't that have been the responsibility of the authorities? But I also acknowledge that there is a possibility, there's a slim possibility that there could be other things that the government, maybe there's some foreign influence, you never know, you must be open-minded about these things. But I believe that it is important that the government should now come out and say, specifically, this is why we are charging these people. Okay, do you get what I'm saying? If there is more than meets the eye, because this is the same government now that has gotten a court order to freeze the accounts of some of the people they perceive to be the organizers and supporters. And that if they believe that there was some outside influence that could then constitute it into some security risk or whatever, why not come out point blank and tell us what it is? Do you agree to that?
I agree.
Because, again, we must be open-minded about these things sometimes. And I just had breakfast with a young lady just earlier this morning, my friend's daughter, and we're rubbing minds. And I said that history has shown that sometimes things might not appear to be what they are. But the two things about the problem here is the information that is passed on to the arrogant information typical of these people, where you say, those who promoted the protest and allowed it to degenerate must be made to face the full wrath of the law. What is the full wrath of the law? First of all, I hate using that word, full wrath of the law. Is there half wrath of the law? Is there half of it? And then why not go further and tell us that specifically this is why? There is no law that says you cannot demonstrate. If it degenerates into violence, you need to show proof that it was those who organized this that allowed, that pushed the other people into that. It was part of their demonstrators. It's a bit complex. Maybe what should also bother us is the government's reaction to the demand. In principle, you have acceded to the demand, but some of the fundamental issues that brought about the whole crisis, you have not attended to. No police reforms in sight. Very crucial. Nothing to show that you actually intend to face the inequalities that we have in that, because that's where it's all about, poverty and inequalities on the gap between the rich and the poor, no provisions for the poor, excessive enrichment of the elite, and so on and so forth. These are the major issues. You haven't even made any attempt to attend to these. Your National Assembly members are still on high salaries. Nothing specific has been shown, has been achieved, even though you say you have agreed 5 for 5. I wonder what you think.
The 5 for 5 was just a symbolic acceptance.
Acceptance,
just
yes.
5 for 5. Okay, we have had you.
We have had you.
Disband SAS, then set up SWAT. They showed some people in one bush somewhere. They were with white T-shirts in a dusty area. They were running and stuff like that. So I expected, you see, the NSAS issue has now become a political issue, in the sense that one part of the country is saying they don't want them to end SARS.
Yes.
Another part of the country, people in another part of the country is saying, end SARS. Now, if you look at the typical journey from Lagos, if you look at the typical journey from Lagos to, let's say, as far as the east, or from Lagos as far as somewhere after Ondo, you see that every few kilometers you see a checkpoint of policemen, stopping you, checking you. Or if you go from another federal highway, you move another 2 kilometers, another one. The stretch of Lagos to Benin alone, you see the stretch. So the people in the north don't have that kind of roadblocks,
security
measures. But if they have, at least that will have helped them forestall all the kidnapping that happens around some axes. They don't have those ones. So it is the people down south that feels the pinch of the menace of the police, the SARS, police brutality and stuff like that, because they harass you here. But over up north, you hardly find that kind of harassment. So it's down south. So now, the political leaders have divided this thing into two: we against them against us. Now they want to take us out of power. They're trying to use the back door, to come out of power. These guys are talking about police brutality. They didn't tell you step down. I would have expected immediately the president to set up a think tank and put up a police reform act.
Exactly.
And call the two heads of the parliamentary section of the legislature,
yes.
and call them aside and tell them and do a symbolic show and say, we are sending out these police reforms and we're going to call in public people memorandum. We'll call in across the 36 states. So we're going to get input. And I want the National Assembly to fast track this process. Should be one of their fastest bills that they're going to bring out, so that I can pen my signatures to it. We have already set this aside. Let the public to put their input. People like issues of police salaries, people like police welfare, police uniform, equipment, training, continuous training, things like that. Those things should be placed there and table it in the parliament.
Whilst we're talking about that, do you think that the problem of the police can be solved by current or ex-policemen, or you would need some external input?
See, if I was the president, it's as simple and short. All I just need to do is to put a phone call to Boris Johnson.
Yes.
And tell him to give me 2 or 3 retired
very strong, yes.
3 or 4, let them come. There's no shame in this
There's
thing.
no shame in it, yes.
There's no shame at all. Let them come and let them manage this thing for 2 years. Let them do orientation, So you don't need to fly anybody from here to London for training. London will come here.
Come here.
And
then the public got to do it for free.
Thank you very much. I bet that the likes of EU and co will even support you for free. So you won't even going to spend your money to do these things. So they will come and give you proper training. See, there's no shame. Bank of England brought somebody from the US or so, or Canada, from North America to come and hand the Bank of England. There's no shame in this business.
I think the Prime Minister before, was it what's this guy's name? Tony Blair or so?
Yes.
When Boris was a mayor, I can't remember. But they brought in a retired police officer
from New York. They brought that one to come there. So
yes.
So let's not deceive ourselves that we can. We can't.
No, and the way we are structured really is we were set up at a time when there was British rule. The police was set up to put the natives in order and pump them into submission.
There was one video that I saw of recent.
Yes.
Of police passing out. Yes, police passing out. Parade in Ikeja. And there was a short video of like 4 or 5 minutes. Then you see they showed our policemen, attending to some issues with their pad, like jotting down, taking notes. I just started thinking, how did we?
Okay, we need to
get
take
to this point.
We need to take a short break right now. When we come back, I'm going to go through this. It says NSAS, most police colleges not fit for human beings. XAIG Alakpani. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. Hello, my name is is Ronke from Ikorodu.
Hi, I'm Emeka from Festa.
My name is Ahmed from Apapa.
I want to tell you about my radio. My radio is my best friend.
My steady companion.
My radio keeps me informed
all day long
With hot topics,
trending news,
politics and current affairs.
my radio gives me the best music.
My radio is
Nigeria Info.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Uncle Dentist, what are cavities? And how does Colgate protect my teeth from cavities? Does it use Kung Fu?
No, dear. Most tooth pains are caused by tooth holes called cavities. When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavities.
It's time to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Keeps cavities out!
Colgate is recommended by the Nigerian Dental Association.
Guy, you don't see that new funny video for Twitter? That one with the boy.
You mean this one?
What of that brother Shaggy News Kit where they circulate WhatsApp?
Oh, this one.
What of that meme where the guy?
When mouth open like this, ba?
Mr. No Ito, which data you dey use know all these things?
Now, Glow new data plans get me.
Are you serious?
With just 50 naira, and they get 50 MB. And with just 100 naira, and they get 150 MB. We have to use chat or browse on top Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, and even Snapchat. Don't dull yourself, oh. Dial star 777 hash now. Make you begin the browse, they go.
Glow Unlimited. Every day, someone stands a chance to be a winner.
Really?
Yes. 50,000 naira every week on Just a Minute Game Show. Just call in to any of our shows. The Morning Crossfire, What's Up Lagos, The Sunny Side, and Hard Facts. Answer as many questions as possible within 60 seconds, and we'll be giving out 50,000 naira every week. Yes! 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 Winners will be announced on Hard Facts with Sandra Ezekrisili. Just a Minute, the game show for everyone on your number one station for talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Who can I borrow this 50k from now? Lekon. No, I haven't paid him that 6k I collected last week. Musa talks too much before he announces to the whole world. Ijoma is writing exams. She won't even listen.
Don't let your bank balance decide your priorities or your friends. Standard Chartered Bank Personal Overdraft Loan allows you to get cash for your urgent personal needs. To apply, send an email to personaloverdraft.ng@sc.com or call our call center on 01-270-4611 or toll free on 0800-123-5000. Standard Chartered Bank, here for good.
You are listening to your number one station for talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is Daily Digest with Jimi Disu.
Yeah, you're welcome back. If you want to be part of this, you can call 0700-993-993-993, or you can send a tweet at Nigeria Info FM and tag at Jimi Disu. Okay. So I was saying, XAIG Alakmini says that most police colleges are not fit for human beings. He said it as part of a discussion, not that he didn't say it in isolation, and he was just lamenting. He also faulted the recruitment process into the police, stressing that this has allowed the employment of a lot of undesirable elements into the police. What do you think? Well, let me tell you what I think, so that I can set the pace for you. I think that the general policing, the policing model that we have is outdated. It's going to achieve very little, and it calls for review, structural review, and the thinking within the police, the theme that runs through policing needs to be completely reviewed. And I think it would help, just like you said, if you brought in those who have run modern police forces, and also if you brought in people who can put some structure into the police. For example, as we speak now, you have the inspector, the police force, then you have the police service commission. The police force is headed by the IG, who is a policeman. You now have the police service commission, also headed again by a retired IG. It has never made sense to me.
It was Ministry of Police Affairs.
Then you have Ministry of Police Affairs. Now, there's a quarrel between the PSC and the IG over who is supposed to recruit into the police force. And they've sent memos to... This has been going on for quite a while. At one point, they even took themselves to court. I wish we had a president who is quick to react. He would have fired the two. Fired the IG, fired if they because they can't work together. As far as I'm concerned, the police force comes first in this regard, the country comes first. So if they can't work together, why not get rid of these two people and let's find those who can? But it doesn't make sense for me for you to have an IG heading the police, then also then have a retired policeman with the PSC. It's not likely to work. The problem with the police is structural, mainly structural, and the training process is zero. Okay, it's outdated. This police force was set up by colonialists, beat the natives into submission, deal with them. These days, you have a police that people look up to protect them. They keep saying the police is your friend, the police is your friend. When the brief that the policeman himself has also is, amongst all other things, is also to extort what he can, because that one goes all the way up the system. So what is your thinking on that? I do have a call. Oh, loads of calls. But go on, Osa.
I sincerely think I agree with you that the system needs total overhauling. But we have been on this now for over 2 decades, saying the same,
exactly,
saying the same. So even the PSC and the police IG, right from time immemorial, they have that fight, because it's the ex-IG that becomes the same. So it's you. When I was an IG, you were a commissioner.
You're a commissioner, yes.
So those battle of egos now coming to you. Even when you were dead, did you allow the former chairman of PSC breathing space? So when it comes to my own turn, so you see those things back and forth.
Personality class.
So personality class. So to them, it's not about service; it's about personal. It's their own personal ego they are festering. So it's not just about the generality of the people, because like every other sector of this country, it needs total overhauling, and we need the right people. And the right orientation to turn around things, because we are going from same of the same. A policeman and policewoman takes a handbag of a woman, madam, and madam sits down. You can even see it in ministers. I was watching news on one of these stations last weekend when one of the ministers for state came to a function. The policewoman came and dropped her bag on top of her table. Minister, I don't want to mention her name. She was on a function, and when she sat down,
she couldn't even carry her own.
Yes, now they brought the woman, dressed very smartly. The woman came and put, like a sergeant or something, put the bag on top of her table for her. She arranged herself.
Well, it also brings.
And I start thinking, what is all this?
It also brings me to something that I think we've had just enough of. This idea of having a VIP and having policemen running around them. You see a lot of it in Lagos, but much more outside Lagos. There's a lot of power show. Even in some cases, we'd like to call on the Chief of Army Staff to also put a stop to this idea of people using soldiers for their personal security.
Imagine.
I think when I grew up in the 60s and 70s, there was nothing like that. These days, you find a sir this or chief this or high chief this or high chief that having 6 policemen and 4 soldiers running around his Rolls Royce up and down. Why do we do this? This is where indiscipline starts from. It's where indiscipline starts from. The IG gave an order that all orderlies should be withdrawn. He had to give a second order naming people specifically.
Just how many people did he name?
Well, he named, I think, about 40 names.
We have thousands of people
with policemen.
Thousands.
Why can't we put a stop to this
bad
habit?
Some has taxpayers' vehicles in front of their houses parked.
Yes.
Permanently with APC. Parked.
Yes.
Among personal carrier parked there. Taxpayers' money, guiding some people.
Guiding one family.
Yes. So the rot is terrible.
Let me pick a call here. Hello, good morning. Hello, morning.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning, sir. Uncle Jimmy, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Who's calling?
Okay, I just want to contribute something. Something happened yesterday, and I need to let Nigerians know what is happening about the police reform of the thing. You know that a friend of mine was arrested during the NSAS protest, and for them to file insurance claim, they asked them to go to a police station to go and get a police report.
Yes.
Uncle Jimmy, let me bust your bubble. Do you know that the police people yesterday were asking this guy that his shop got burned to go and bring 150,000?
You're not busting my bubble. It's something that everybody knows. Everybody knows that. Yes.
Uncle Jimmy, I don't know where we are going. I'm not just saying this. I'm
I
over
understand.
40.
But
I'm over 40. I'm just crying for the future of
You're
this
not busting
country.
I was robbed one time some many years back, and I went to the police station almost in boxers. Armed robbers came in those days. Armed robbers will come break your door and everything down in Surulere there. And I went there. The guy, I've been robbed though. Even if you see me say, you go, this man, they don't rob him. The guy said I should say, okay, bring something. I will not get biro to write statement. So and you trust me. And I said, you want me to give you money? I said I've been robbed. This was even before the days of ATM.
Where are we going to? Where are we going to in this country, Uncle Jimmy?
I
don't understand though. Where are we going to?
I honestly don't know.
Those are the people that are supposed to get our back.
Well, the question also now has to deal with how have you treated them in the first instance. When you train people like animals, we all saw the documentary from on channels the other day, where about 8 people were sharing one bonga fish inside the bucket and so on. That's what Alakmeni is referring to.
Somebody's head.
That's what Alakmeni is referring to here. Retired AIG Alakmeni. That the police college, the way it is structured, cannot produce any policeman with right thinking. Well, that's another question.
That's the truth. I keep hearing all these complaints from ex-IGDs, ex-DIG that, ex-AIGDs. You see, police get subvention. What did they do with those subvention? How many police colleges do we have in Nigeria? I'm not sure they're up to 6. How many police colleges do you have in Nigeria? So, do they get money from? See, there's during Obasanjo time there was one tax or something that they collect, police equipment something fund.
Yes. Police, it was Obasanjo's in law. I think it was in charge of
Kenny Martins. Yes. See the truth of it. Let me tell you what I feel now. When you give policemen, apart from the only place I've seen policemen manage the vehicles, equipment given to them, is the one from Lagos State Security Trust Fund. Anyone, if you give them a brand new Toyota Hilux today, go there in 6 months' time, that thing is dead.
It's operations.
Operations. See, is it not the same? See, they themselves.
Okay, so why do you think that? Okay, who looks after the one from Lagos State Security Tax? Trust Fund. What are you trying to infer? You say those that are given to them by Lagos State are better maintained than the one with the police.
Yes, because Lagos State gets it from.
They maintain
it. They fuel these things. They do all sorts of things to it. They do services. I pass through that place every day in Alausa, and you see them even in uniforms. You can see how bad it is. Lagos State government through the trust fund provide uniforms
for the
police. And buy armored personal carrier. People banks donate one or two vehicles there, buy 1 or 2 armored carriers to protect their banks from being invaded, things like that. Then what is the government doing? The government is the center that controls the police. What do they do? They spend this money. So even if you say businesses pay 0.02% of your profit or this is as security tax that it can be used to channel security, it will still go down into people's pockets. People spend those money. What do they do with it? So to maintain police college, is it a difficult thing?
When I saw you saw didn't you see the video?
Yes. Now, if you drive past Back Anthony, just look by your right or by your left if you're coming in. Look at the blocks there. You will see them in their white t-shirts.
Can you explain to me, for example, why it appears to me a bloody civilian, an ordinary human being, a non-entity, quote and unquote, unknown person, why I have this perception that other forces are better treated than the police. Can you explain? Do you think I'm right? And what do you think is
You're
responsible
not right
for
now.
that?
You know, in those days,
Yes.
who and who plan how to overthrow a government? It's the other
military.
forces now.
Yes.
So these ones are not part of.
So they took care of themselves.
They took care of themselves. These ones are not part of the setting. So we are the ones in charge. You are the ones in the infantry. You are the ones armored. You are the ones in the air. You are the ones in the sea.
But don't you think it also has to do with policy? Because you go to any armed forces, any Air Force barracks, Navy barracks, Army barracks, well looked after, clean. You go to police barracks. Oh my God. Oh my God. I hope the government does do something. But I'm not going to let you go without touching on this story that is here. And this story is calling, and it was fortuitous that it came in the papers today, because just this weekend I was discussing with somebody about, you're looking at the food in TV. The food is not for you. Somebody should please switch off that TV. In case you haven't seen our studios, we are surrounded by TVs. Somebody's playing lawn tennis. Then, as I was speaking to Osa, they were serving food. So if food is kind okay, Osa, concentrate now. If you're hungry, I'll take you for lunch. So this story talks about scrapping the Lekki toll gates. Do you know that since that incident and the toll gates have been open, there's been virtually no traffic on the Lekki corridor? Don't you think we should just... the people who are asking for the scrapping, they're called Lagos, they're called a group of prominent indigents. And the communique was signed by Chief Alaba Williams, Bashorun Jaye Randall, J.K. Randall, Dr. Adedosumo, and Chief Sumbo Onitiri, and they're saying that, look, you need to scrap these toll gates. They're menace to the side. Since the NSAS riot, there's been no go-through in the Lekki corridor. It's like every day is a public holiday on that axis. Apparently, it's that toll gate that has been responsible for the terrible traffic that you have in that. And so you ask yourself, if you calculate the losses that people and the state incurs from having the toll gate against how much money is raised at the toll gate, I think you'll be looking at something in favor of the latter, meaning that the losses that we incur would be far more than what you actually do have at the toll gate. And also, these people also say that all the taxes that are collected by the NURTW and market leaders in these various markets, this NURTW run after, that these monies should be collected and directed to local governments to enable development at the grassroots and create jobs for the restive youth. What's your view on that? First, the toll gate.
The toll gate should be dismantled. The people of Lagos have not have any single benefit from that toll gate.
You reckon?
Yes. Because it goes to private pockets. LCC questionnaire, say somebody. There's a time that Fashola wrote something to the House of Assembly to pay 89 billion back.
Yes.
Have they not paid it? So let the people benefit. At least even if it's small from this government for 21 years.
Well, I'm more inclined to even say that more because of the inconvenience. It makes life unbearable.
Toll gate in the single road that links one part of the island to another part of the island. You put in a toll gate to do what? Just like you put in the toll gate in the middle of New York City. Even with already congestion of traffic already.
Yes.
Or somewhere in London, somewhere in the middle of London, ask it, you're going somewhere to Bristol, you're going somewhere, it is one toll gate there. Toll gate should be on the highway.
Yeah.
Maybe you're coming to Lagos from Bega, you can put a toll gate there. Or you want to exit Ekpe side, you want to go to there, if you have a good road, you can put a toll gate there. I'm not against toll gates, but not inside the city. And when the Lagos State government has not come out and said, okay, in year one, we are able to generate XYZ. And we channel this into us XYZ. No, there's no account for those toll gates. That will just go to personal pockets. This is just a racket going on. It's a continuous racket at detriment of the people.
Why do you say it's a racket?
Everything about Lagos is just a racket. It's a big racket.
That's my state.
Yes, unfortunately, it's a big
I will give it back to you. Everything about the Edo State is a racket.
I pay my taxes here.
We will deport you.
Yeah, they can't deport me.
I will report you to KBSC. You're one of those we should throw in the water. Let me pick it. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
This sounds like Adenusi Patrick.
Your Excellency, I greet you.
Yes, you are just the right person to ask this question. Do you think we should scrap the Lekki toll gate?
Everybody knows my position about that, sir.
I don't know it, so please tell me.
The conception in the first place was faulty.
Okay.
It's the only access in and out of Lekki. Lekki area is about 60% of the landmass of Lagos.
Really?
You have one entry and one exit.
And you toll it.
And you toll it. The global law about tolling is that there must be an alternative.
Well, they said there's one passing through Oniru.
That's a bypass. This is English.
Oh, sorry, I beg.
This is English. That is a bypass. There's no alternative on this corridor. When anything shuts down one lane or one direction, the whole place is locked down. There is nowhere else. No, if the people in Shangote, if anything happens in Aja, everybody in Shangote go backward to get to the other part of Lagos. We need to go to Ekpe, to Ikorodu.
Yes.
No, things are not. That's poor planning. Yes, sir. Anyway, I want to quickly make a contribution about the police that we are talking about.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that we are where we are in this country, and it will actually have been daydreaming if we are not where we are. They look conflicting. When we stop reasoning, our thinking faculties went on vacation, then we cannot expect to get quality things. Sir, when we were growing up, the policemen don't wear trousers. They wear shorts. You see them presentable. When a policeman appears, everybody is looking what has gone wrong, what is happening. But today you see a policeman wearing slippers.
Yeah.
Pick 20 policemen, they have different, you find 20 different shoes. The color of their shirts are not the same. How do we think as a country that we will get the best from them? Sir, we know that red, orange, yellow, blue, green, indigo, and violet are the colors, and black absorbs all of them. We give them black uniform, they stay in the sun. They are like we're just baking them. There's no way they will think well. Everything needs to change. We need to press the reset button. The citizens are not against the police. The police should know that. They shouldn't vent their anger on the citizens because they are not properly cared for. Does not mean I am the reason that they are not cared for. I am suffering the way they are suffering. So I think the president should press the reset button. Let us go back to where it was before. We don't need to go out of the old landmark that is working, where reasoning, thinking, actions, integrity were the order of the day. Today, I want to close by saying, sir, let the government know that there is actually no government without the people. Good morning.
That was a teaser. But that was a heavy one from Adenusi Patrick. Do you want to quickly comment on it before I pick a call? Yeah,
okay.
Go on.
He has said it all. And that we really need a proper reform, a proper one.
Yes.
A proper one, and a sincere one, for that matter.
Yeah, okay, go on.
And I'm not seeing anything in the sight for that.
The side, okay.
In the sight.
I found this story very interesting, but we can't comment on it because it's in court. But I just wanted to alert people to it. That the CBN opposes the bid to remove Arabic from the Naira note. It says the CBN has opposed a suit. There's a suit seeking to remove Ajami Arabic inscriptions on the Naira notes. And he told the Federal High Court that it will cost the country a colossal sum of money to discard the existing notes and print new notes without Ajami. The CBN said Ajami is not a symbol or mark of Islam, but an inscription to aid non-English speakers who are literate in and use Ajami for trade. If that is what it is, it would be nice if the Naira note had something inscription in Igbo, in Yoruba, in Fulfulde, in Hausa, in the Jaw, in this and that. We can't comment on that. That's just by the way. But the case is in court. But I think we are allowed to say that what concerns us the most is the value of the notes that we are carrying. Personally, I don't care whether it is in Chinese or whatever. It's the value that matters to me. Also, I won't let you say anything there. I don't want to go put my hands behind my back for contempt of God, because I know what you jolly well might say. Also, Osa, this is a piece of good news. I don't know if you heard me this morning. Biden hails COVID-19 vaccine breakthrough as Pfizer targets 1.3 billion doses. It looks as if we might have a vaccine in place.
1.3 billion?
Yes, doses.
That will not reach us, get to us now. We are 200
You
million.
don't think it will get to us?
We are 200 million. Americans
but I'm thinking that other companies might follow suit and produce.
Yes, they can sell the patent to them.
They'll sell the patent to them, we hope. But what don't you think that we should be? We have Pfizer in Nigeria here. Don't you think we should be talking to them?
Pfizer have left Nigeria now.
No, they're here.
They have just some marketing.
They're here. They're here. I know that. Okay. I know that for sure. That they're here, and I think we should. Don't you think we should be talking to them to see if we can grab out of this 1.3 billion doses? And by the way, when we do get the vaccine, do you think Nigerians should pay for it?
I don't think so.
But how do you think the distribution would then you might have privileged people hoarding it, and then it shows up in the black market or something like that?
Do you think you carry the vaccine? Vaccine should be stored somewhere now. Stored somewhere in a cooler, like a refrigerator.
Palliatives are stored somewhere. And people went to.
They claim they just loaded the palliative like a week before. They were trying to strategize of distributing it. I'm not sure.
I like it. I like it when I can speak in parables and sarcasm with a fellow crazy man like me. Also, we have to leave. We got to leave. We'll be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Wednesday is usually Diabumi, but we will excuse Diabumi tomorrow because we have a guest and we have a burning issue to look at. So, but what we will do is that we will keep that Diabumi paper, and then we might jolly well do it on Friday. Okay? So that's how we go tomorrow. Thank you very much, Osaweni. Thank you very much for coming. And I wish you success in all your endeavors, including the recent one. In which you suit the people you live with.
I need to do that.
Have you withdrawn the case?
No, we have not withdrawn the case.
The case is on.
No, the case is I'm committed to that battle.
You are committed to that battle.
I will see to you to the end.
I wish you all the best. You know that I'm an associate member.
I know you are an associate member. We are planning to sanitize that place so that we can get more associate members coming in.
Okay. Thank you very much, Osa. Thank you very much, Zainab and Philip. God bless you all. We'll be back again same time tomorrow. So take life easy, okay? Relax. The world is not going to come to an end just yet. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.
Home of entertaining conversations.
I personally think Liverpool of last season that lost the title were better. That's my personal opinion.
Somebody who has the virus refused to isolate. That's even attempted murder, in my opinion, because you know how dangerous this virus is and you refuse to do the right thing. It should be a crime.
99.3.
A young man like me looking for what I'll fed myself, and police are collecting my money. It's evil. What the letter will say? I'm not doing Yahoo. I have a luxury shop.
Your number one station for talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Talk is what we do.
You know, the youth of Nigeria have historically been apathetic towards the electoral process. There's no way for the youth to participate in mainstream fields like oil and gas, banking, and so on. The youth are actively excluded from those fields. And so we just created our own way in tech.
Informed analysis, reliable, accurate.
We actually advocate you get your eyes checked at least once a year. When you go for an eye check, routine things they do for you is to check your